Hmm.
So as JJ leaves, I'm left with this ache of how can I bring this full embodiment form to more areas of my life? And how can I not tolerate it in areas where I don't experience it by default? Where I make up
Is it?
JJ's like her way of being is doing more of the heavy lifting.
Yep.
And now I'm kind of like sick of everything else because it's like, oh, it's just not nearly as yummy or high fidelity as I get to experience conscious awareness through JJ.
You have to figure out how it is that you have to be, what's the come from. You can't look at it like it's like you're looking for an answer. It's not about a new car. It's not about, yoga. It's the come from. That the come from is that this is what I'm going to be engaging with. I have to be the thing such that these things happen. It's like watching me dance with what's her name last night. She wants to be the little shy retiring stuff. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Who do you have to be such that people want to engage with you in that way?
it is like the
What's the
thesis of the work.
orientation? Hmm?
Does this seem like the thesis of the work or the main thrust of it? And like when I'm there on the court in the field, this question doesn't occur to me.
that. Oh, I'm supposed to return that tennis ball you just served? Why would I get closer to something moving that fast? Well, because if you don't get closer to it, you can't hit it back. But it might hit me. That would hurt. But we're here to play tennis. Maybe not the way that you want to play it. I could get hurt. You're looking for an opportunity to in your terms, you're looking to put your hand around the throat of somebody and push them up against a wall in such a way that they do not freak out and call the cops on you, but see it as an invitation to a deeper kind of dance. And there's a little tiny tug at the left hand side of Maria's face.
Hi.
Mariah.
Right.
Huh.
Nice to meet
Mariah McKay. More of your inane platitudes and civilities.
you.
Ooh. There's somebody who knows why they have holes and paddles.
My city is famous for them.
You own a city?
No, I just am like emotionally enmeshed in one.
You're emotionally enmeshed with an inanimate object?
It's not inanimate, it's quite animate. It's quite layered and teeming with life. And yeah, I can't get away from it.
Well, so is every other city on the planet.
I know, I have a weakness for this one.
Weakness. Why don't you say I have a strength for this one?
Yep, that's fair.
What do you want,
Sure.
Mariah? Let me ask Mariah what she wants.
I'm already getting what I want.
No, you're not.
Camaraderie, entertainment, the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the shallow end of the pool.
Okay.
If you want to stay in the shallow end, that's fine. Yeah. See, this is the question, Alton. How would you have to dance? You're going to look at Mariah and you're going to think whatever it is you're going to think. The come from is she likes to dance and swim in the deep end. And given how she shows up, she's been trained that you can't show people that. They have to jump through a bunch of hoops before you let them see that. And so now you get to look at, So now you get to look at that and you get to say, okay, this could take weeks and months and years, or it could take 35 minutes. Or even shorter. But given how she shows up, she's got a public image to be concerned about. That's a wool suit. That's a finely embroidered little sweater top under there. Hair is pulled back. Nice, not glaring lipstick. Definitely big, full lips, but nothing that's good. Those are just my jeans. Sorry. Everything I'm doing here, Alton, is my come from that she likes swimming in the deep end.
And she's waiting for an opportunity or aching for somebody to offer her the invitation to express that in a deeper dance.
No, she's not. She's not waiting for an invitation. She's waiting for proof. Do you know how many invitations she's gotten to supposed amazing things in her life? And she's been sorely disappointed. Anybody can write an invitation. She's looking for proof.
And what would you suspect she's looking for as signifiers, given what you know of her?
I would say that in the beginning, she wants somebody that's being willing to not to be gross or to be like just offensive for the sake of being offensive, but somebody that will speak past platitudes. Then she's going to do something. She's going to test that. She's going to say, okay, let's see if this shithead is all talk or whether he actually has something going on. I don't know what it is. I don't think she's going to speak French. My city is famous for those. That's a shit test. Not making goofy faces is probably another proof.
I'm having some difficulty managing going between this and pushing someone up against the wall and have them interpret it as an invitation to a deeper dance or a form.
Oh, she's already there.
As evidenced by her.
By how she reacted to that comment. This is a woman who is comfortable with big movements, with big feelings. Big experiences.
My context of Mariah is stewarding like something like 39 families, homes or something like this, and being present to the whole like living, breathing community. And I imagine that takes a huge capacity. And I'm interested in finding others who are also on this path who can be meaningfully supported through this ecosystem or this work.
Speak English.
Might be able to translate. Actually, Alton, it's kind of a misnomer that if you live in co-housing, that you're emotionally available to everyone. You actually might have someone in the community that you don't like and don't get along with, and actually maybe even low-key hate, and you're not friends at all, and you never talk to them, and that's okay. So I would not say that I'm holding that kind of space for my entire village.
That's a definition of a community, not a club. A club, if you don't like them, you either boot them out or they leave, something like that. What do you do, Mariah, in simple terms?
I'm a community organizer.
So the Latinos come to you, or the Jesuits come to you, or what the hell does that mean?
Oh, it means a lot of things in a lot of different contexts.
Oh, yay.
Involved, yeah, in a lot of different ways. I don't know. It's a hard question to answer.
What do you do? Do you manage? Do you find homes? Are you a real estate broker? What do you do?
A little bit of all of the above. I mean, prosaically, agitate, educate, organize. So whatever I sense there's a common cause that can be knitted together, I help folks see the in-between and we go after it.
So you're like a broker? What's your business card say? What's your business card say?
It says free range human. No joke.
Jesus. So if I had 7 people in my little family, yeah, idiocy. Yay. Humans don't work well on free range, but that's okay. So if I had 7 human beings and I was moving to the city where you are, and I wanted a co-housing facility, and I was having trouble with the people in my community, my group, we would come to you?
Yeah, if I liked you, I could offer to help consult the process.
Hmm. And why does she want to engage with you, Alton?
We're working on that.
We're swimming in similar directions.
No, she's making things happen. You're not.
He made his house happen. That was yesterday. And some other people on this call have made that house happen too. Hi, Brian.
I'm in the house. Yeah, it's a happening house. I like it. That's why I'm here.
Mariah, could Brian carry your load?
He's getting there.
That's a no.
He aspires to it, right, Brian?
So Mariah, try saying no.
I don't know him well enough, but I'm going to wager no.
Right. Good.
What's your load? I missed that. I came in a little late.
Her wattage, her current.
Her energy. No.
Yes. She's not that woo. I don't think she's very woo at all. I think she can speak woo, but yeah.
Okay. Looks to me like she runs 220.
At least. You look dangerous, Mariah. I wouldn't want to meet you in a dark alley if you thought ill of me. You look like like there would be some. Yeah, it looks like it would be some heavy lifting. Very intense. And you have the air about you as somebody who doesn't get to feed very often. And Oh my God, there's your grief. I would think that you would not let that grief out at all, Mariah.
Touche, Cray.
Hmm. What are you going to do now, Mariah? Ball's in your court.
Gosh, I am courting.
Gosh. No.
Golly gee
No.
whiz.
No,
I'm courting my
I'm not talking. I am not talking to you when you talk like that at all. Gosh. Gee willikers.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to bury my dead baby.
Why? Let the
Um,
dead bury the dead.
well, it's in my freezer right now, and that's just not somewhere it belongs.
So what's your lineage say about what to do with it?
I'm an earth-loving dirt worshiper, so I say compost that shit.
Yes, so then why aren't you doing that?
Because I want it to be in my garden, and right now I'm here in San Francisco, so it's a first order of business when I return home.
So you don't have a problem. You know exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah,
So what do you?
I wish I could.
You're not saying
The
something.
ground's going to be frozen, and I wanted to do it with my neighbors during Dia de los Muertos. We'll figure it out. And I have to carve a headstone. I've never done that before.
Yeah, but come on. This is all stuff that you or somebody with 1/4 of what you have could handle. This isn't what's bugging you. Those are all things, those are things that need to be done.
Yes, I mean, maybe this is
Maybe that's not you.
but I'm pissed that our culture doesn't have any kind of guidance or protocol around these transitions. I mean, it's like I have to invent one, like, I mean, I'm pretty confident to invent one, but I don't know. I just feel like a lot of us women are eviscerated, ignored, lost.
Do you feel alone?
In my confidence, I feel alone in these moments. Yeah, I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, you underwent a huge transition for you personally, and you have nothing to reflect it back to. You're alone with a dead baby in your freezer, okay? And you've got to put it to rest, and you don't have any guidance, you have no support, and you have no elder voices guiding you.
Except, the ethereal ones inside, I guess. They're not actually talking to me, but I mean, I'm not completely alone in this, but I'm more alone than I think most people ought to be.
I'm more alone than I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, building a village and visiting my people in other cities.
No, that's the Band-Aid.
What if you're always more alone than you'll want to be?
I mean, I've had increasing comfort with my aloneness, which has been such a relief.
You're not putting the saddle on the thing that's up, in my opinion. You're talking about a lot of stuff pointing in the general direction, but if how you're doing it asked you to, hey, let's go have sex, you would be like, no, I'm not having sex with that piece of banality. There's no 220 here. And it may not be the place for it. But the way that you're breathing, the way that something looks like it's stirring in your gut, oh, that looks like a hell of a ride. dancing with what that is, that look to me, that looks like something worth a shit ton. But there aren't a lot of people that have the weird fucked up taste that I do in relational dancing. I would love to see your ugly side.
It's funny, about 20 seconds ago, I got a vision of, the story about Samson when he pulls the, he's chained like this. I saw you, Mariah, whatever, Samson, male, female, who cares? Like, pull it, like getting finally strong enough and pulling down the whole fucking thing around your ears. Just saying. I get pictures.
Are you doing this just because you didn't want to wear the coat, Brian?
No, I did a cold plunge after my shower,
Huh?
and my body has not recovered its heat. So I'm gonna get now a hot tea as well because I'm shivering. And yes, I'm wearing the coat.
Ah, good.
This is your favorite. Yeah.
Dead baby in the freezer. That was 219. That was pretty good.
What's 219?
Voltage. It's one of her shit tests. If you get offended by a dead baby in a freezer, she doesn't want to really dance with you. You're muted again, Alton.
Trying to imagine the set of people who get offended by that. What their life is like.
No, don't.
I make up that Mariah and I have similar aches or pains for desire for community, and the cost of trying to do things alone is very salient to us. And I imagine there are other people in the world who have similar textures of ache.
Community is the old way of doing it. If you think that you're going to take something that has served humans for this long but doesn't really work anymore without addressing core structural differences, you are chasing your tail.
The structural differences.
Yeah, it's like what communities used to be. Everybody wants a club now. They don't want a community. They don't want, the village idiot. They don't want, the guys who, belong to the KKK. If you're part of the community, they can't throw you out, really, unless you're really heinous. And so it's not I think it's not so much the aloneness, but it's the type of reflection. Mariah has just done something and there's no reflections. She's alone in an echo chamber. There's no place. There's no, this is the history of how our women dealt with this in the tribe. This is the ceremony we have. This is la 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 la. She's like free floating in space. There's no path. There's no reflection. There's no reflecting back you. Because that's the thing. It's not about them. It's about the ability to reflect back, and you can feel yourself in the reflecting. And the closest thing that we have is this, made up new age thing of community. And it's have fun. Let's live in a house together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't like you. I'm going to tell you to leave because I own the property. Excuse me? So if I don't reflect you in the way that you want to be reflected, I get to leave. That's not what communities are about.
The Tories frame of what community is about is welcoming all the parts you mentioned, village idiot included, or
It's not welcoming. In a village, you hate people. You know, you're like, don't you ever talk to the butcher's son again, ever. You know, there's animosity, there's slight, there's the whole human package. You guys want to sit around and feel good and smoke toads and and have fun and go rollerblading and let's go to Nicaragua because it's going to be fun. Let's build a big playhouse. Let's find a big, cool clubhouse where we all can have our own separate rooms and our own separate toilets and our own separate kitchens. And we'll all play together really nicely and we'll play special games on the weekends. No. Helping Maria bury her baby. That's something. That's human. How do you be with Mariah, with sex? She's got a dead baby in the freezer. How are you going to be with her with sensuality? What do you think is going to come up? How do you dance with her anger, with her rage, with her grief? If you get past that, how do you dance with possibly her happiness, her relief? You got to get a quieter keyboard.
Sorry.
La-di-da. How you doing, Mariah?
I'm debating whether or not to share fun facts.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
Okay, then we can just sit here in silence.
Yeah. Share Mariah if you want, but no facts. Uh-oh. Suit jacket's coming off.
Yeah, I got my little space heater over there, so I don't need it anymore. Might as well take my sweater off while I'm at it. Okay, much better.
How about the hair?
It's like 3 feet long.
I don't care.
I'm having a hard time getting a haircut.
Why would you want to get a haircut?
There's a certain point where you start tripping on your own hair that you're like, okay, maybe it's time.
You're not at that point.
Oh.
I feel you.
Yeah. So, how do those pixels look, Mariah? How do the pixels of Mariah look to you now? What would you say about this version versus the Business suit one.
I don't know. Maybe I look a little more fluid.
Whoosh.
Oh, really? You're going to go with like 1 wattage here? You're going to do 1 volt? Great.
I'm just not that excited. I mean, excited interrogating my own visage.
I'm not interrogating it. I'm just saying, what do you think about it?
I'm right now I'm working on making peace with my neck wrinkles because I'm
Oh, yeah.
41 and all the Buddhist deities have these lines in the neck. It's like one of their 46 symbols of whatever. I'm like, okay, I can just embrace these as actually a trait, a beautiful trait. I'm gonna rock
Why
them
don't
out.
you just ignore them? They're not ugly. They're not beautiful. They're just wrinkles. Why
Yeah.
do you have to?
Looking like a true man.
No, believe me. I was obese. I was beaten up. Don't give me any shit about not knowing what body shame is about or body differences or thinking that you're not measuring up to society. I have a bucket load of that.
I think there's a gendered flavor to that adds another dimension.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, boring.
Speaking of boring, there's Sorrel.
Hi. Speaking of boring,
Who's in your Tonka back there?
Hmm?
Who's in your Tonka back there?
it's not mine. I'm at Alston's. It's the classic. Well, no, not sure. It's two. It's the male and
I
masculine.
don't know.
Oh, I don't know, but it's the feminine and masculine in union. It's an image I know well, but I don't know.
Yum.
Yep, yep.
Isn't that cultural misappropriation? Nobody there is a straight up Buddhist. So you're taking their art form and putting it up as meaningful to you.
Are you asking me this about a bedroom that's not mine, or?
Well, now, Kitty's grown some teeth since I last saw you. Care to try to draw blood rather than just show that you have teeth?
I think drawing blood on your skin is going to be very hard.
Yep. You'll have to be very skillful. No,
Not yet.
not yet. Promises, promises, promises.
Oh. Yeah. Interesting things have been happening actually since our first session. So something that you did worked
Oh,
very
it's
well.
my fault.
No. No, but
What did you do? What did you do with something that I said?
I let it in.
Oh, good. Could you be more vague?
I let it draw my attention to a thing that I had trouble looking at, and I just kept looking at it and stayed with it when it was uncomfortable, let it unfold, and yelled at people sometimes.
I was hoping you had bought a strap on and pegged somebody. Damn.
Who says I haven't?
I don't know. That's not what you said.
Well, maybe it's not an integral part of the process.
No, for you it would be. In my opinion.
Yeah. I actually just spent 6 days with someone who was a dance partner, like an actual an actual dance partner. So that has been interesting to do. I'm drained as fuck. Drained and tender. So probably, not fully
No,
ready.
I don't.
But
I do not know. What do you want? See, you're doing the same thing that Mariah's doing. There's something that you really want to say. There's something you really want to dance, but your psychopathology tells you you can't do that because that would mean trouble. And that's fine. I don't care. But I think you're going to have to figure out a way to actually put some words that feel appropriate to what's inside so that you can dance with it without pulling out an Uzi and shooting up a kindergarten.
yeah. I want to put more of what that is outside.
Oh, stop.
More of my...
Just do it. Stop talking about
You
it.
just asked me what I wanted to do.
Yes, I want to do this. Just do it. You don't have to describe it. Just do it.
Fuck you.
No. You're good at talking, Leona. I will bet you $1 million fucking dollars that you are quite excellent at talking in a variety of different tempos and dialects and maybe even languages. And people will be very surprised. But action, I don't know about that.
How would I take action beyond talking in this call?
I don't know. Yeah, that little smile. Yeah. Speaking is an action. Careful, Leona. You won't be able to unsay it.
And say what?
Oof. Now you see, the people who know how to listen just heard you say a lot. All right? You didn't use English. You used breathing patterns and used tonality. Yeah. I don't like dancing with people who need their permission from me. Your permission lies with
Being
you.
on these calls.
Hmm?
And why do you keep being on these calls?
Because I have a woo-woo obligation to Alton, and I can't figure a way out of it.
Ooh,
Believe me, if I could figure out how to get out of this, I would have, but I can't. So I'm resigned to my fate.
So it's what, a spiritual contract or?
I don't know. It's the story I tell. I say every week, I'm like, do I have to go? Do I have to go? I really don't want to go. I'd rather play Enshrouded. That's the game I'm playing now. I'd much rather play a video game. And the universe says, no, get on the call. And I'm like, really? Seriously? Yep. And I'm like, yep.
How does it say that?
Just you asking that question is
It's evasive.
hmm?
It's evasive.
It's no disrespect, Leona. It shows one of two things in my world. You're over indulgent in your adolescent masculine, or your lack of knowledge. All right? I don't think so, Leona. I think you know perfectly well how the universe speaks.
I do know perfectly well, but I've seen you poke at exactly these things with people on calls, so I'm surprised to hear you say it. And I'm poking at it. I'm not saying
Not very well.
the universe speaks.
Not very well.
You train right.
Why don't you say that's not what I hear the universe saying about you, Cray? Yeah, that.
I don't know yet what it's saying about you.
Liar. Yeah, that smile. Yep. I understand, Leona. You don't know where it's leading. You don't know where it's going to end up. But you sure as hell hear what it has to say about right now, right here.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm learning.
Not fast enough.
Oh, come on. It's pretty fast.
Go compared to these people, yeah, but you're comparing a racehorse to slugs. I mean, you're still a slow racehorse.
I'm good with that. I have other things to do.
Right. Yeah, really big, important things to do rather than owning the truth of who you are, being able to dance with it. Yeah, there's so many things that are much more important than that. Why don't you toddle on away and go find whatever masturbatory thing you're doing now to keep yourself away from the real work and go indulge yourself?
I am indulging myself.
Yes, you are. Why? Why not strike hard? Strike true. Why not gut yourself? Show those fears that they're not the boss of you. That you really don't believe your head will explode.
Yeah, I feel that belief though. Wow. Why is this gotta be a live stream again?
Yep. Don't do it, Leona.
Can we refocus for a minute? I just came in. There's other people here.
Oh, no. Oh, let's put the attention some other place.
I wanted to
I'm
hear
getting.
what's different after your last call. You kind of like set us up and then it was a cliffhanger and I want the punchline.
What do you mean my last call?
You opened with saying interesting things have been happening since my last call. And
I meant since my first call.
Wait. Mariah, she may be talking about things that when she's back in her right mind, she'll say, I said that on a live call. But Alton can set up little breakout rooms and you can go into a breakout room and she can tell you all the disgusting little details that she doesn't want Facebook to know about.
Fuck Facebook.
I think it works.
No, don't.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Oh, hi, Linda.
Hi, Craig.
God. Oh, God. Jesus.
Mariah mentioned something that I had that Lena would be maybe to support in the community around. And that was my interests are come from.
What?
Get that?
Linda supports a lot of people in a lot of the grief work and like death doulaing, and Mariah shared things that felt resonant with that for me.
You do death doula, Leona?
No, he said Linda.
Oh, Linda. Yeah, Linda looks like she does death dueling. Yeah.
Really? I look like it? But
You look like one of those happy, cheerful new age types that decide to take a swim into the dark side or the serious side of life. And Leona to me would bring some sort of shamanistic thing from Serbia or something like that, and that would be really crazy. But
nice. I like the hair, Cray.
you like my hair?
Well, I like you. It's different than before. You look young.
Wow, that's supposed to be a compliment?
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm not part of the youth culture. Sorry.
fine. I have to hop on another call, but Alton wanted me to say hi specifically to Mariah. Sally's your name? So hi.
Hi, thanks for doing what you do.
Oh, thanks.
Oh boy. Thanks for doing what you do. Yeah. Thanks for breathing and shitting and eating and wearing cute hats with pseudo leopard prints. Yep.
Thanks for doing what you do too, Cray.
You don't know what I do. How can you be thanking me? You're an unintelligent commentator. You don't know what I do.
I've experienced you before. Love you, Cray. Bye.
No, she doesn't.
I don't either, Cray.
No, you appreciate me.
No, I don't love you.
No. If you loved me, I'd have avocados becoming Air Express. But no.
It's illegal.
It is not.
100%. I cannot export any. Anyway, you don't need to know that. It's not legal. Can't. No produce can leave this state unless it's been fumigated or whatever.
Oh well. Leona, go away. If you're not going to do anything.
Why do I always have to do something?
Oh, you could try being something, but that'd be even more dangerous.
That sounds much more interesting. Very tired of doing things.
What?
I'm very tired of doing things, I said.
You're tired of leading. It looks like.
Yeah. It is tiring work.
And you're faced with the same problem that Mariah is. There's no competent leaders out there, in your opinion.
Not many.
Hmm?
Not many. I wouldn't say no. Or at least I wouldn't want to believe that.
I don't want to believe that the sun is rising tomorrow. I really don't want to believe it. It's actually true, but I don't want to believe it.
Would you say there's no competent leaders? None.
For what you're bringing to the table right now, I would have to dig really hard and call on a lot of old favors that I don't want to call on. And I don't know whether your forebrain could handle it. I think the rest of you could really handle it really well, but I don't think that your forebrain could.
I think that's okay, though.
I know it's okay, but I'm much nicer, Mariah. That was gorgeous, Mariah. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Well, now.
I just said she looks beautiful. That's a huge change.
Yeah. There's like a shark smelling chum in the water. Oh, Mariah. Heavens to, oh my goodness. She doesn't do that focus thing that you do, Leona. She's more like this. So, Leona, I'm going to throw some shaman questions at you. What's the difference between her presentation and your presentation?
Hers is softer.
Okay, and what's the bell curve? What kind of results is she going to get versus your kind of results?
I would say I'm more on the tail end. And who would get more volume, like the
Who's going to get more
lower
volume?
Mariah.
Yeah. You don't want volume?
No.
What do you want?
Far side of the tail end.
But what's there?
Intensity and penetration and some sort of like directness, immediacy that's so strong that nothing else exists.
Who's doing the penetrating?
Both of us in some sense.
So is this romantic fantasy? Or is this practical?
Fantasy. It's
Hmm?
I think it's practical.
No, you can't say you think it's practical. Either it's practical or it's not.
It is practical. It is a fantasy. It's not romantic. Romantic is kind of, it's erotic, but it's not romantic.
So every single person in that house, you could get them to tail you. But you would have to be very, very clear about what they were supposed to do. You could not leave it up to their understanding at all.
I wouldn't like that.
Right now, oh, fine. Then be alone. You're going to have to educate them one way or another.
I barely know what I'm doing myself. How am I going to educate?
Well, what a great place to learn.
Leona, I'm curious if you'd be interested in dissecting what happened over the last 6 days and what served you and what didn't.
Yeah. I can, yeah. In a general sense, I would say I had a dance partner who, and I couldn't find the end of his strength, in a sense. There was no holding back necessary because no matter what I threw against the wall, it didn't break. And the opposite was true for me as well. So we kind of could go into just a very, very direct form of expression and harshness with each other, like a direct expression of emotions of disdain, of anything really, and anger, and just no frills, no filters. Didn't always work, but it just kind of led to this it created this very, very stable container in which all this little like anticipating, like part of my awareness that I'm putting in other people and feeling them, really feeling their emotions, and then adjusting my expression to how I expect them to react, to make them feel good in order to make myself feel safe. I just stopped doing that. I could stop doing that because I could trust him to hold it. And also I was called out on my bullshit. So I felt like if after initial resistance, it just felt so good to, because only that way I could trust him to be strong. Because if he couldn't call me out, then like, you know.
So are you going to be done resisting anytime soon, or?
Well, let's hope, but
oh, great. Yeah. Let's hope that we get equality. All those nice things for everybody. Let's hope.
Am I going to be done resisting what? Like,
me. Here, now.
Mm. I will definitely try.
You want the Yoda quote, or do you know it by heart?
I know it by heart.
Yeah, there you go. You might want to do a little bit of like, what is the bullshit that's going to be coming out of my mouth next? And stop it from happening.
And I couldn't answer many of your questions anymore.
Not the way that you have been.
Mm.
I'm kind of a fan of a little bit of resistance, I gotta say. Aren't you, Cry?
It depends.
Okay.
Like if it's petulant, not really.
No.
Fear-based resistance, teasing resistance, that's okay sometimes. What is there to resist? Mr. Swami.
What about fierce, angry resistance?
Mm.
What about?
It depends. Usually that's
We're in the ballpark now.
Usually that's a child.
Mm.
You're acting out some childish. Come on, Swami. There's nothing in the present moment that you need to get angry about, especially if you're in a relational dance.
Well, we're all putting on whatever we're putting on. I'm saying putting on resistance can be a good thing sometimes.
If you want to put them on, sure, fine.
I happen to think you're quite fond of the occasional scratch on the cheek.
That's not resistance.
Oh, in my book it is.
Yeah.
We're talking different terminology.
Yep.
That's
like I really, in my world, Mariah is doing a great job of resisting. But to me, she's doing a lot of internal stuff. She's fighting herself, or herself is fighting her, or something like that. So to me, I'm just like, that to me looks grounded and something. Leona is just being petulant.
You're goading me.
Really? God, how observant of you.
It might be because he thinks with one nail you could slice him open and look into his guts.
Nope. She could do me physical harm. I'm 65. I mean, I can't run anymore, so she could probably trip me up and stick knives in me, and I wouldn't be able to do much about it. But what's the point? She won't be able to feed. Feeding is a two-way street. You can't feed on corpses. You can't feed unless they're close to your range. Otherwise, you're just perpetrating or being a victim.
True.
Careful, Mariah. Wow. I would love to see you walk into some sort of your normal business clad meeting looking like that. It would be a very different meeting. Yes. There's Brian, all prim and proper.
Had to get adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mariah, can you see your pixels?
Yep.
Do you ever see the masculine version of what's on your face right now?
Yes.
Good for you. In my prejudice, I would label you as hungry right now, like bone hungry. And I haven't seen a male be able to do that in a long time.
Hmm.
How about a nap, Leona? Maybe a nice little nap. You could get a teddy bear.
That is quite literally what I'm feeling right now, yeah.
And go away.
Okay.
You guys want to meet my niece and my nephew?
No.
Sure. Hi.
Hi, kids.
Adorable.
Yep,
Ugh.
there they are. They don't get to look at screens very often, so when they
This is a rare treat.
I'm gonna become a
And
little
they get us.
Yep.
Why are you breaking the rules?
Oh, is there? I didn't know there was a rule. Sorry.
No, you said they don't get to look at screens much.
Oh, well, yeah, these kids are breaking the rules. They have little raccoon dolls that they call bobos. It's quite endearing and adorable.
Those look like pandas.
Yeah, they're highly stylized raccoons.
Huh? White face. Mm.
Bye bye.
Oh, God, 1 hour to go. Jesus, help me.
Ray, what are you hoping is going to happen
With what?
this next hour of your life?
I don't know. I have no hopes.
What's your moment-to-moment experience?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit of pleasure with Mariah, a little bit of jealousy at looking at Robert's place, sense of camaraderie with Jochen, wishing that JJ had done more than first or second gear with Brian. That's about it.
You tried. We made progress. It's good. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know either, honestly. It's kind of why I'm here. Okay.
It's a treat to see Mariah. To taste her.
The tip of the iceberg, at least.
Tip of something.
Well, this notion of community being inescapable, like people are trying to build communities, but they exist as part of highly dysfunctional ones. And yeah, like my own mother moved into my village and couldn't handle it and left. So it's like, no matter the high degree of community, people are always coming and going. I don't know. I just, how to tie yourself down and commit to unpleasant relationships in a way that hones your edge or conversely grinds it down. I think
it's just the words that you're using. Tie yourself down. Okay, that doesn't bode well. Okay, that's a bunch of adolescents who don't want to work, who want to be narcissistic, and you're going to have to tie them into their positions so that they do the adult right thing. That's not going to fly. The approach of how do you tie yourself down into responsibilities, and remember, that's the wrong approach. That's an adolescent talking. Oh, I have to change diapers. Oh,
Some of us like bondage, Gray.
That's not what I don't. Yeah, you're right. Some of us. Yeah. Me. Yes. Yeah.
Anyways, I kind of was wanting to play with like marrying people to groups of people, and like, what would it be like to get married to your community, whatever that's.
You'd have to have. Do you know anthropology at all, Mariah?
As much
no,
as
you can't. It's like vision questing, okay? Back in the day, when it came up through the culture, you went on a vision quest, and if you were successful, you were held to a different standard of being. Mm-hmm. All right. The entire community said, "Oh, you're now a man or a shun, whatever it is," and you were in a defined other place. Now, these days, people are like, "Oh, I want to go do a vision quest," and they go out and they do it, and they have it. They don't. There's no there's no social support for that. They're going away and they're riding a pony and they're doing something. And they come back and nobody's expecting them, expecting them to be different. Marriage, in the old days, marriage meant something. Not because it was something, but because it has a social, in the containers, in the monocultures, it had definitions. Nowadays, if you get married, if you don't like it, you go to Vegas, you spend $2,000, and now you're divorced. It's no big deal. Just because you're married to your community doesn't mean anybody's going to, you do. You're trying to, instead of having the desire for it coming up, you're trying to impose it on the other from the top down.
I always experiment on myself first. So I was designing my marriage ceremony to my city, because that actually reflects how I am with it. Anyway.
You're married to your city?
I'm actually in a threesome with my city and my husband.
I'm sure that gets you lots of laughs at the cocktail party and puts you up on a certain platform. And
No, it does not.
How are you married to your city? What's the reciprocity? What's the coin exchange? What does it do for you? What do you do for it?
So many things.
Name one. What do you do for your husband? What does he do for you?
My city
that people
caresses me sometimes with the aroma of its natural environment, in ways that evoke a whole lifetime of memories of connection and
right
life.
So the thing that you're married to is actually in a coma because it's not doing anything volitionally.
I think it's alive.
It's not making choices.
You can
no, the physical environment.
I mean, you can have a relationship with the natural world.
Not a marriage. A marriage is a human thing. It implies choice.
I know, but we're evolving what that could be like. It's not a literal marriage. It's a
hokey pokey woo woo thing. Yes, I agree with you.
I don't know. I'm trying to achieve some perspective shifting. And I'm always work on myself first.
That's fine. So, be married to your plants, be married to your paintings. Fine. I don't care. It's a, you get to achieve some state differences inside yourself because of the stories that you tell. Fine. What's the functionality of the marriage to your city? I don't know.
Ray, there's a lot of value. I'm really interested in this particular thread where I imagine that Mariah may hold space for people, or they pool resources with her and her husband. These things increase stability, like an insurance plan does across a community.
It could.
Yeah, the purpose is to stay in the relationship.
Fine. Try to sell that to today's culture.
I know it's
that's fine, but again,
today's culture. I'm interested in tomorrow's culture.
I know, but you're not telling me why people would want to do this. You're imposing an idea right now, from what I understand. You're not telling me why people should stay together when they want to kill each other.
People are hungry for intimacy. And why not?
I don't like you. I want out. You're driving me fucking crazy.
There is no.
Why should I stay with you?
Part of community.
People just can't move off whenever they have a problem anymore.
Yes, they can.
Not rich enough, and there's nowhere else better to go.
If you can't describe the value of $1,000 glass of wine, nobody's going to buy it. If you can't get across to them why this is so valuable, you can't just say, oh, there's levels of intimacy in rage, la, 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 la. They're like, you sound like, you sound like somebody arguing for, the man sex thing, the man boy sex thing, or you sound like, you're arguing for slavery or something. What? Why should I stay in today's authentic movement? When you're not supposed to upset me, you're supposed to respect my boundaries, and I'm not supposed to feel bad. What is the sales pitch that you're using to tell people they should stay together when they don't want to? I don't disagree with you, Mariah. I do not. I am in one of the highest moments I ever had with my wife. I hated her more than I've ever hated anybody in my life. And that was a beautiful, intimate moment. And neither of us took it personally. Now, if we had taken it personally, yeah, somebody would have been dead.
The sales pitch I have it is that people get to be held in their rawest form, where everything that they typically cling to is going to be stripped away just through enough iterated times in community, and you'll actually still be held and welcomed. That's not purchasable.
Nobody on these calls or I've met wants to be held in their rawness. They may talk that, but I don't see it happening.
But they're on a live stream on it is a very different concept.
So you're talking about rawness in certain special temple situations.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly more.
Okay.
That's what the community holds and hosts.
Did you see Leona? Leona couldn't be raw. Mariah is telegraphing it.
Yeah.
She is telegraphing her rawness and her hunger, but she's not actually saying anything about it.
I much prefer dances when there's like a distinct space for distinct experiences. It's much cleaner.
Life is life, Alton. I agree that most adolescent masculines want to keep everything compartmentalized so they don't get confused and fuck things up. Yes, I understand that.
Sure, it's a matter of the communication for me and being able to be more in the container when there are specific designated windows for that, whether time or physical location, etc.
Yep. If you're going to dance with Mariah, if you're going to dance with JJ, if you're going to dance with Leona, and you're expecting there to be discrete windows for specific activities and specific languaging, good luck with that. putting a tornado inside a box. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm asserting that's exactly what these calls are and why they have been physically here and present for the past periods of time.
I think it's great. I mean, if you guys, if you, it's like, yeah. Again, I come from a different generation. My ideas about what rawness are, my ideas about what the function of friendships are, or community, or clubs.
I resonate with a lot of them. I think that was beautiful.
Mm.
For me, it's not so much about being held, but of my capacity to hold Cray.
I think that's great. I only want to use my right bicep when I'm in relationship. It's about me holding. I don't want anybody else to hold me. I don't want anybody else to practice that.
Like,
I'm going to hold everybody. I understand that you're grossly uncomfortable with being held in a raw way, Yoke. I understand that.
I'm telling you just what my experience is of why it's pleasurable for me.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dahmer thought it was pleasurable to cut the heads off of small boys and put them in his fridge. So what?
My husband's been actually doing the thing of being held in a raw way. Took us 13 years, but he's actually doing it.
So, Mariah, speed up the process, would you? Figure out how to make it a weekend. Jesus, 13 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Cray, I have it that like Mariah and a lot of the friends here do have an appetite for that and are present to the returns on what's available on the other side when every part of you wants to run away and you're still willing to stick it out with specific people.
Most everybody is used to having, the ones who like that experience are very clear about what it is that they're willing to do that with. Jokin's willing to do that with holding people, but people holding him, nah. I don't find that pleasurable, okay? Even in the sadistic kind of way.
Yeah, well, I have that he's looking for people, or he's in the market for someone to be able to hold him so fully and completely, to nearly match the skill that he has for other people.
Yeah, and one day he'll actually say that. Then 5 or 6 years later, he'll actually go looking for it to happen. 5 years after that, maybe it'll happen. 13 years.
Okay, so he could learn from Mariah, from you. It sounds like you got a weekend program. You just why are you implying that it takes so long?
I'm not. Mariah said it took her husband 13 years. Given that she's Mariah, she's obviously severely traumatized or something. You don't, if you're in Navy SEAL training, it's not from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon with a 2-hour lunch break.
I feel okay not having every aspect of my life like Navy SEAL training.
Yep, I understand that.
I'm very sorry to have to transition, but I'm heading south to visit some friends. Today's my last day here in San Francisco.
Why not just say goodbye?
Yeah, check you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, now I'm stuck with you guys. Help me, Jesus.
If only you hadn't sent Leona away.
Yeah. Like you want Leona here when she doesn't want to be here. Not a good idea. She doesn't have the cojones to do what she wants, then. If you want a great blow-up doll, sure. But if you want a live human being,
Are you currently just like trying to goad me into like where exactly for me the boundary between wisdom and asshole is?
I would enjoy more of your asshole, less of your wisdom, personally. Your wisdom is vastly overrated.
Well, since I say very little. Um,
Mm.
Well, I'm what Alton said earlier is most of us don't want to be in a Navy SEAL type environment, but I'm hearing that we should expect that and kind of frame our life around that. But that seems not to be what's actually happening. We're not in a constant wartime environment. Am I?
No, you guys, to me,
No.
you guys are, and again, old man, you guys are dilettantes. Okay.
Mhm.
You're doing some work. That's fine.
Mm.
Just you're not going to build any skyscrapers. You know, you guys are taking it way too slow. You guys are way more concerned about your comfort than your discomfort. You're narcissistic. You're, what do they call that when you're privileged? You know what's it called? When you think the world entitled. You're privileged, you're entitled, and you have money. You can do whatever you want.
Pain is the greater teacher for sure.
Yeah. You formed your personalities through trauma. All right. The only way that you're going to get past what you've locked up is to use the same amount of force. You can do it. You can spend years doing Freudian analysis, and eventually you might become free. Or you can spend a hard weekend.
You're saying the equal amount of equal amount being an equal amount of trauma or equal amount of force that caused the trauma.
You have to be in this, because the kid is sitting there, the pattern is sitting there saying, I've got the only answer that keeps us safe. When somebody yells at us, we go blue. You know? And you have to be willing to have the horror story show up and you get to handle it. Probably by not going blue, because that's his coping skill. You have to do something different. Most of your likes, most of your, the things you like, the things you don't like, it's just a character suit. You were taught these things. They align with who you think you are most of the time.
Well, there's a kind of a readout that the body, my body, will give me if I'm doing things that seem to be in constant
Your
pressure
body
against
is a
it.
reflection of your mind.
Okay, that's a worldview. So what I'm experiencing is there is tension that occurs often when I'm doing things that are doing things often that are out of line with what one part of me, which you're describing as like the small child, wants. And so there's right. So as
ever try to get a bigot to not be a bigot? They have a lot of tension. Same principle.
So what's the gauge of success if there's like years of continuous pushing against that, and there's really just pain in the pushing back? What is the what?
Okay, here we go. You ready? Pay attention. You have a child self that's made a bunch of meaning about something and has created a bunch of coping skills. Okay, let's just say women beat you, so you can't talk to them. All right, let's just call that. Every time that you look at a woman, that child jumps in the driver's seat and says, "Oh, this is dangerous. We have to go away."
Right.
It's simple, right? You have to, if you're looking at your life and saying, I want to talk to more women, all right? This isn't working for me for whatever reasons. All right. So you're going to have to put yourself in the face of the woman, and you're going to have to feel that get away now and say, no, I'm staying here. And my new philosophy is they're people and I can carry on a conversation with them. So I'm going to attempt to have a conversation with this person. Now, whatever the trauma was, you're going to have to find that. If it's a woman saying you're a piece of shit, more or less, you're going to have a woman say, get the fuck away from me, or something that triggered the little kid. And you're going to say, oh, okay, I'm sorry, instead of falling onto the floor like a little brokenhearted little kid. You're going to have to use your adult philosophy of being to interact with something that your child believes is the end of the world. That's it. And you can spend 30 years getting there. Or you can go with JJ and say, JJ, I think this is one of my biggest triggers. Can you do this? And this is my philosophy about what I want to practice instead. I'm not just going to stonewall it. I have to come up with what I want to do instead. If you're an alcoholic, it's not about not drinking. It's about what do you do when the urge to drink is upon you. If you try just stiff arming it, sooner or later, you'll start drinking again. It will win. Statistically speaking.
So instead of stiff arming it, I am acting out the scenario in which I act the way I want to act in the face of that.
As an adult, yes. Yep.
As an adult.
Yep.
Okay.
When you were interacting with JJ last night, it did not look like you had a script. It didn't look like you had an idea about where you wanted to go, how the dance wanted to look, where you wanted to end up.
Right.
So you were just pulling it out of your ass in the moment. No cohesive philosophy, no practice. You were just flailing at the ball. And a couple of them probably went over the net.
Yeah.
Law of averages. Instead of practicing in the face of this kind of woman, this is where I want to go for these reasons. What's the philosophy? What's your new philosophy?
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Gray.
Yes.
Remember the 1 ounce of flesh thing from?
Yep.
You ever use that?
Back when I was young and stupid, I did things like that.
Oh no, no. I mean, do you ever think of using that in this context? You know.
Well, that's the meta context.
Yeah.
But not specific. If I pointed people at that, I don't think it would go well.
Oh, I think it would.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
yeah. Yeah, you're from India. You like the guys with the beggars on the little trolleys and you like that kind of stuff.
A lot easier to throw them over your shoulder if you need to.
It is. That's you know what? I am not even going to ask, Rob. I don't want to know. Yes, Brian, it looks like you're a man on the mission now.
Thinking through the instances or the big things I want to model out. So, yeah, thinking through them.
Write them down.
Okay.
For exercise reps, do you always recommend against both parties doing like the difficult lift for each other? Or is it's always just like one person who's like doing the lifts and the other person's a spotter?
It's a lot safer that way.
And the unsafe thing is where someone gets emotionally hurt again or gets re-traumatized or triggered?
I don't believe in re-traumatization. Is that you go off the rails. It's really hard if you're trying to do this and they're fucking, trying to scratch your eyes out. It's really tough to do your reps. The point is to do the reps. And most of the time, most of the people that do reps are not doing them in a flashy kind of way. They're sitting down, they're doing something that's excruciatingly painful, and they're concentrating on form, and they have a strict time container. You can, you can jitterbug together. It's gay, and you should do it at least once or twice just to see how bad it can go.
What would it take for someone to match your skill level or capacity?
Years of practice.
Any specific axes that people happen to already be really good at or like have already practiced, just happens from different domains? That's general recurring pattern, like you setting what seem to be impossible standards and then you resent people for not meeting your impossible unannounced standards.
I think one of the things is pattern recognition. There's two, for me, the two biggest things are pattern recognition and is that so? The ability to step back from whatever it is your amygdala is trying to hook you from. If you can get those two things going, I don't take anything personal. Most of the time, Rob gets me every so often. But I don't, it's not personal. Leona's going to do what she does. Brian's going to do what she does. JJ is going to, it's just a dance. I'm in a dance hall. I'm here to dance. Doesn't mean anything after this is over. The difficulty what I think you have, especially Alton, is like, what are the consequences? What are the possible horrible things that could result from this? And they can happen. But if you're having those things be in front of whatever you're doing, it's going to take a long time.
I've definitely been experiencing more of that open up with time with JJ, and I would like to bring that to more other areas of my life.
Mm-hmm.
My default plan is just to try stuff and find out, and it seems to be fine.
Yeah. I'm just going to try things on the tennis court. If enough monkeys type on typewriters long enough, there's going to be a Shakespearean play right there.
Yeah, I appreciate the point about the law of averages and that there's regression to the mean. And yes, so the default for me is there's a specific outcome that I still have it, that I'm in touch with, that the people who choose to gravitate into my life are still in touch with. That just be by
Alton, they're looking to you to be the example of making choices.
That's what I've been taking on, and by practicing in my living. And I have it that you're saying that there's some higher standard that you would see signifiers for more loudly, and I'm interested
if you're letting things happen instead of saying this is what I want to have happen, I'm open to changing it up.
Yeah.
But
what I want to have happen is people come to these containers and share like they did.
No. How do they come to you?
with practices.
You're the
like to take
container.
on with what it is that they would like to bring more into their life and breathe life into. And then I create containers or connections such that becomes the default probable almost certain future.
How do you show up with the flavors of what it is to be a human being such that you're having this experience in your life, Alton, that you're sitting in this chair?
This chair meaning.
My chair, this chair. You're the one they're asking questions of.
Got it. That's the signifier you're saying.
Yes.
I have it that
You're
happens
not a
90% of the
middleman.
other contexts where it's happening.
Fine.
How do you curate
Alex,
higher quality questions?
What? How do I curate what?
Higher quality questions. So like a lot of people come to me, but similarly, it's like they may be, like you say, kindergartner questions or people who have untrained eyes who are asking basic questions. And there's a certain way that I or others can show up such that there are much more nuanced questions where people are willing to do their homework before coming to you. And you said like JJ does this very well. She comes up with like 10 questions, like, here are the things. What do you think? Based on what I want to create, this is my current plan. What do you think of that plan?
How do you show up such that that happens? It's the orientation. You can look at Rob and say, oh, he's just an old fuddy-duddy living out his life in Hawaii, and why would anybody listen to him? I mean, look at the creases in his forehead. That signifies la. And if you hold that story about him, it's going to affect how you hear him. It's going to affect how you say things to him. If you're holding, how do you hold Leona? How do you hold JJ? How do you hold Jochen? What are the stories that are informing how you see people? How you interact with them? If the story is that they're strong, they're nuanced, until it's proven otherwise. Am I making sense, Alton, to you? No. I'm telling you,
I hear
it's
you,
not.
You want me to put the burden of proof on other people before I even like tolerate hearing them more. That's what I'm compressing it to.
What I'm saying is that the most important thing you can have, Alton, is your come from. Granted, you do need a bit of mechanical stuff. But your come from with most of these people is like, you don't have to, in my meaning making about you, you tend to treat people like they're small little children. And they need a daddy to take care of them and to point things out. And granted, the people you've chosen, seem to have proven this out. But it's like, how are you going to, Leona strikes me as somebody who has, in my story making, has a connection to sort of like Siberian or Northern Eastern European shamanistic craziness stuff. I don't know why. Okay. But I'm not going to jump into my first conversation with her about that stuff. I'm going to put little testers out there. And so your conversation with people should be leading you someplace. It shouldn't all be at the same level.
Leading you someplace.
It's like if somebody comes up and says, are you a coder, Alton? Someone? Okay, so somebody comes up and says, I'm a coder. You're going to go, da, 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 da. You're gonna do a shallow water shit test. All right. Depending on how they answer that, you'll do another level. You'll do another level until you get to a place to where it's like, oh, this is a shared reality now.
Yeah.
If you just ask them, what was the last multi-la you did, that may not get you the question. Most people ask graduated shit test.
Yeah, consistency test is how I'd relate to them.
Yeah. Much more polite that way. Consistency testing, shit testing. Yes.
Shit test typically is like a trap, or it's like a malignant, or like a adversarial frame.
Yes, we like those.
But towards framing, I think there's an important distinction that you are not looking for the ways in which they're weaker, but you are where the maximal intersection of mutual desire may be, and their capacity.
So I imagine that most of the people around you, feminines, you have a desire to go deeper with them, but that's not what your language reflects.
What I set up containers in connection with them, and or it like spills over and like just making dinner, or
that's not what your language reflects
on these streams.
Yes. And so that's part of the way that you get to be better doing this, whatever this is that you want to get someplace, and you don't have all the time in the world. And if Leona or the other one never talks to me again, that's okay.
I'm leaning more into creating like trailers for people's lives and life itself, and that's more compelling. We did a lot with JJ today, and I have it that I imagine you'll be surprised.
I hope so.
Any other pointers in this direction that you would like to see in a trailer, or like a sizzle reel, or
about
this type of work?
Yeah, but again, who is
this type of work generally?
Who are you pointing it at? If you're pointing at the fundamentalist Christians, it's going to be very different than the Nazi motorcycle gang. Depends who you're pointing it at.
Pointed towards myself and Brian, who's here.
I think there would be something about the song that's sung when you can hold the container for a feminine that's going completely crazy.
Thank you. I received that. Oh. How do you also go about creating containers for people? I make up like JJ who wants to be like fully truly held, and I make up that there's just like that's just never really been available, and so that just may not be like on the table. What type of context do you create such that someone can totally relax that into, who may have never been held this way before?
You just do it small. You do what Leona's doing. She knows perfectly well that she's inviting the viewer into bed with her. And she's doing it in there's a lot of different ways that she can show up in bed, I imagine. And this is her answer to me. She took about 30 minutes to come up with this.
I was lying down, but I felt right to check back in, and this is where I'm at. So
now, this is where I choose to be with you. This is my choice. You could choose.
Why is it your choice?
And I'm talking for you.
Oh.
You're not doing this because this is where you happen to be. You're doing this because this is what you want. You're in ownership This isn't an accident.
No, I want to show up as this too. It's
What is this?
soft. I don't know. Weak.
No, there's nothing weak about you. You're such a.
Say it.
I don't have. It's if English was your second language or third language.
It is.
Oh, good. Because I would say that it's like, what's your native language?
German.
Oh, God. Shit. There's a word in German that has undulating, maybe. It's not soft like a pillow soft. It's like it's the opposite of a knight in armor.
Yeah, undulating comes up for me a lot.
Yeah.
Really?
It's not right now, you are fully a martial artist. You're just not a martial artist who's in armor right now. You're still deadly as fuck. All right. And you have a lot more ways I think that your ways of hurting people by not being in armor are actually way more dangerous than your armored version. Much more interesting. It's like your armored self is like you're tattooing with like with a grease gun. And this is like you have this little teeny tiny little tattoo needle.
But I'm hurting people either way.
They think you are. Everybody who gets a tattoo more than once knows that it hurts. Dancing with you is not, if we're going to dance with you, it's not going to be pillows, and it's going to be the full range of what it is to be a human being. And in the beginning, it's about owning the things that we're afraid to own. So yes, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Can you be compassionate and holding and slow moving? Absolutely. But you don't want to dance with the infirmed or children. Okay, go back to sleep. Or not. Okay.
Why do you want me to go back to sleep now?
Because I think that you've done something very remarkable, and I don't want to turn it into a stage show. You did what you did, and I think you're done. And sleep well. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And bye.
Alton's like, I'm going to have a very long talk with my chat GPT later on tonight. What the fuck just happened?
I'm interested in what effect you wanted to impart in that. Her just in acknowledging that she's frequently felt like she's overworked or tired all the time, and having her feel finally like comfortable enough to relax or nap would be nourishing for everybody. there's clearly something different going on for you around your come from for that.
She's showing up in armor. She's exhausted because she dances in armor a lot in my world. And she mentioned that she was tired. And so she's used to showing up and people wanting to feed on her. And I'm going to show up and say, yeah, fine, but no, go take care of yourself. You're more than a snack to me. I want to dance with you. I don't want to use you.
Tell me more about what you get from the story of a reluctant spiritual contract holder with Alton.
It makes it sensical to me. I can think of no reason to do this. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the fame. It's tiring. It's a lot of things. And so for me, the one thing that makes sense is that there is some sort of agreement. It allows me to relax rather than sitting with my resentment and with my you fucking bunch of shallow water sailors. Rawr, rawr, rawr. I can relax. I can say I'm committed to being here for 2 hours. I'm going to do the best I can at being me. And then when it's over, it's over.
Do you also enjoy having your edges pushed or poked in the same way that you push for others?
Maybe one day it'll happen.
So yes.
Yes, it's great fun. I mean, people are like, I don't want to hurt you. And I'm like, if you can hurt me, I will be very thankful because it's been a long time since somebody found something.
You have tips on how I can more effectively contribute to Brian and other people who come to the house with some, you mentioned bringing this more to my everyday life. Just sharing or practicing continually. I could turn up the volume 10% more and see what that's like for me as to model it.
I think that most of the guys coming to you are successful within their own niche. Okay. They're floating heads. They're great analysts. They bought into the bit, whatever it is. Okay. They have their expertise, but overall, most of them seem to be lacking a connection to their stomach on down. And so you want to be demonstrating about you. I think that they want to be looking at you dancing with feminines and going, holy shit. How the fuck does he do that?
Okay. Great. So video sales letter will be very helpful in service of this to have a trailer.
But if you're going to do that, you have to be clear that there's two different kinds of attractiveness about the feminine response. There's the one where they're throwing themselves on the couch and saying, do me, Big Daddy Alton. And there's the other one where I can't remember her name. The first one, the one that let her hair down.
Yeah, Mariah.
Yeah. Mariah, yeah. And then there's that. I mean, to me, Mariah was insane today. The way that she went from that, sort of business thing to that hungry adult woman thing. That was really impressive. But I don't know if the guys that are there can see that. I know Rob can see it.
Right. Makes sense.
I think one of the selling points is having some feminines describe how it's different being held by the masculines who have gone through the evergreen experience.
Mhm.
I think that will be a big deal. Because again, remember, these guys are successful. They've got money, they've got cars, they've got, CEOs or whatever they are.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. It's very clear to me that this opens up a whole nother realm in relational fluency. And I very much, I just have a different culture and how loudly I like speak about it or like show out. But I think that could be a growth edge for me in this. And
yeah, and don't forget, they don't know how to speak it.
right.
Okay, so you don't want to get too, porkies or too crazy about it because they don't speak that language. How do you present it as a carrot to where they're at?
I have it that a lot of people want richer relationships.
Define mature relationships. What the hell
Quality of
is
the
that?
dance that consistently blooms them or leaves them like panting for more and has people experience terror in holding each other and to keep coming back for that.
You can show people a tango and then a tango. The women should get the tango. And if you have a commentary about that and they see that there's not visually, there's not a lot of difference.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, so any other last things for Leona while she's here? There's also a couple other like meditator friends that are gonna be coming by, and then some other friends after.
Meditation is a great tool and a lousy lifestyle.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
Write it down, Alton.
Not very
Write
fun.
it. Okay. Oh, you're recording. Never mind.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the transcript on here too.
Am I done? Can I go?
Any last questions? Seems good.
Would you please make sure that there is some sort of substance that will greet Leona when she wakes up? Put a little something in the fridge, put a little, thought you might want something in the morning. Do not mention my name.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, Craig.
Okay.
Bye.
See you guys.